Here's a spooky painting. I'm going to show you a few new techniques today. Grab a mop brush and cover a canvas entirely with black and dry it really good. That's your base. Then go grab something round. I'm just using one of our dinner plates and tracing around it. We're going to make a full moon. So grab a large brush. I'm just using a clean mop brush and I'm filling it in with yellow, orange, and white. You can do whatever color you want for the full moon, but the important part is that the black is behind it, or at least a dark color. Fill that in, and I'm going to show you a fun technique that kids love. Adults can have fun with it too. Take a paper towel. You know how paper towels have texture? Well, I'm going to lay it across the moon before it dries very carefully and just rub a couple different areas of it. We're going to create craters in our moon. So when you lightly peel it off, the paint will lift off onto the paper towel a little bit, and you'll have a textured moon. How cool is that? If you want, you can go in with a clean sponge. I'm just using one of my fine C sponges with no paint on it and just tapping around the edges to make them a little less bold, but that's up to you. And dry it. Because the background is a solid color, you can fix up any lines you need to. And then grab a size 8 round brush because we're going to do some different lines going around our moon just to give the sky a little bit more interest. I'm using teal, black, and I'm even going to do a little bit of white around there. Make sure you get up in the corners. Don't worry too much about the bottom. Ooh, I like how that got bright. Don't worry about the bottom though, because I'm going to take a smaller round brush then, and let's do a couple trees poking up. I'm using tan and light brown because I want them to stand out against that dark background. Don't forget to be doing some V's and make sure that you're doing a couple branches. It can go in front of your moon a little bit, but don't do them too detailed because they aren't going to be the focus. You'll see what we're doing in a second. You can also go in with some dark brown and add some shading. I'm doing that. Think about where the moon would be shining. So the opposite side of where the moon is where your shading would be. And I'm even going to go in with some highlights as well. That would be on the side that the moon is. Now grab a clean, crumpled up paper towel and dip into some white paint. I'm just going to start doing circular motions along the bottom of my trees. I made sure they're dry for this, but we're going to create some spooky fog. This is just a little bit of white paint and I'm smudging it all along the bottom, all different heights. See how I made it look like a cloud? And then wet that paper towel and very lightly smudge it, especially along the edges and in between. You're wiping some of the paint off as you do this, but making it transparent makes it look like a cloud, a spooky cloud. And while we have the white paint, grab a toothpick. You can dot in some stars as well. That always brightens up a sky like this. And surprise, I found some Posca pens. People keep telling me about these, so I have to try them. They are a great beginner's helper if you struggle with fine lines. Instead of having to use a detail brush and worry about dipping in over and over to get the paint to carry, you can use these just like a marker, but it's actually paint. These are water-based, so they can go along with your acrylics if you need to. And they're great for doing lines like this. We're doing some spider webs. See how I'm taking some lines straight out from that point? And then as I got those finished, I'm going to connect each of those lines with a U shape and keep doing that until you get down to that point. That's a simple spider web. The only thing I will say about these pens is they would be great for doing details, but you are stuck with the thickness of the pen. I don't know if they make thinner ones. These are just the first pack I found. They're a little chunky for me, so you can't control the thin or thickness as easy as you can with an actual paintbrush. But if you're just starting out and you struggle with lines, they are a great beginner's helper. So you can add these spider webs wherever you want on your trees. Notice I designed them this way just because I wanted to add the spider webs. That's why I did these deep V's here. I'm going to do a couple of those, and then why don't we add a spider? So I'm just going to do one line coming down, a big circle. How about we do a little circle for a head, and do 4 legs, just a line going up and down, 4 on one side and 4 on the other. And whatever you do up in the moon, you can create something like birds. I'm going to do bats. I'm going to do an oval, and I'm going to do a pointy M on either side of that oval, and 2 little lines going up for ears. That's a super easy bat. Let's do 2 more of them. Oval, pointy M's, either side. We're going to do 3 of them. And then if you want to make them a little bit thicker, I like to thicken up the part coming out from his body just a little bit, that first point of that M. That's a super easy bat. Now, the other thing I wanted to try with this painting is layering over top with the paint pens. So I always like to do highlights. Why don't we grab one of the white Posca pens here, and let's see if we can add a couple pops of highlights. Again, keeping it super simple. They're a little chunkier, so we can't do too much, but I'm gonna do the bats. I did some on the spider, and how about just the lines coming out from the point with the spider webs? That makes it look like it's shining. I like that. And then as a final touch, I am going to take that paper towel again. I did not dip it into any more paint, but it was still a little wet with some of the paint from before. I'm just doing some circular motions up at the top to do some spooky clouds. Let me know what you think about Posca pens or even the moon technique. Those were two totally different things, just had to try them. Have fun with it, make it your own. Can't wait to see what you do with these, and have a great weekend.